Hey guys, welcome to Mosaic Life. This is a podcast where we talk about everything and give you no answers whatsoever.
The points don't matter anyway.
The points do not matter. This episode, this series, this show. What are we even?
I don't know, Rick.
Sounds like Morty. We always end up in these.
Rick.
We always end up in these Rick and Morty bits, and they're so funny to me.
Not that it's a good show that we support.
Oh, we do not. Yeah.
At all.
No, don't watch Rick and Morty. But if you do.
If you do, you'll get half the show that we do.
Yeah, you'll catch on to the references for sure.
Ruth has no clue what we're talking about.
No, Ruth will. She's not old enough to watch Rick and Morty yet.
Ruth, when you're older, you can watch it.
Okay.
But no, this is a fun episode. We're just gonna sit here and talk because that's what we do on podcasts. We sit here and talk,
as opposed to all the other episodes.
Yeah, dude. Well, you don't remember the one where we danced? Like Ruth was crumping. Like,
I remember that one.
It was muted, but it was there.
No.
You don't remember? They don't remember hearing it.
Can you hear somebody crump?
I like to think you can. Ruth was full blown crumping. It was amazing, and yeah, that was the lost episode. Maybe we should just release it as a visual.
If somebody
we're just gonna randomly just see every single one of us cry.
There's gonna be that one FBI agent that's super good at lip reading, and he said, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!"
Oh my gosh, I would love for them to dub it. Yes, and it would be amazing.
The ones that do football games and stuff. What are they? It's called the dub team or something. The ones that
like the bad
lip reading.
Bad lip reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should send it to them and see if they could do it.
I was sitting here. I was like, they don't dub the NFL. Like, what are you talking? And then it clicked for me. I was like, no, those are just announcers, dude. What are you?
Those are my favorite.
Tony Romo,
especially when the referee comes out and then bad lip reading does their own thing.
Dude, do you watch like dubbed shows at all? Like, did you watch? Squid Game was one, and then there's one called Dark that's German.
No, not on the regular. I do because I don't like it when their mouth is off.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Yeah. So
I did, like back in the day, we watched Chinese like Kung Fu Master, like Michael and I in high school.
Yeah.
We always watch.
Sorry, I forgot I was on a.
That's Ruth's inner thoughts.
Whoops.
She said, "I'm so glad we're out of that phase."
That's so rude. But yeah, I would watch like Legends of Drunken Master.
Yeah.
What was the funny one that Ben Stiller was in? That was dubbed, but it was supposed to be stupid.
It wasn't Ben Stiller. Kung Pao. Ben Stiller's not in that, but it looks like him.
Ben Stiller's not in that?
I promise you, Ben Stiller's not in that movie.
You see me getting my phone.
Yep. IMDb it. No, so like, because when I watch them now, like there's a few on Netflix that I watch. I have to, as I hit my headphones, I have to put it on its original spoken language. Like if it's in German, I have to put it on German, and then I just read the subtitles that are in English, obviously. I can't read German, but I can't stand hearing someone say something and it's not matching with their mouth. Like it drives me insane. And so I have to not understand what they're actually physically saying and just read it, which helps you like maintain focus.
I can't remember. I mean, I can't.
Ben Stiller's not in that movie.
He's not in that movie.
He's not. I promise.
How did I? It looks just like him.
I know. I know.
Ben Stiller, if you weren't aware, you have a doppelganger out there.
and he made Kung Pao.
And he made Kung Pao, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
Grief. We're going to talk about grief.
Oh, yeah.
So we're
we haven't made it to the past 30 minutes of talking about bull crap, and then we get into the heavy stuff.
We are 11 minutes in, so we still have to. We're
ahead of the game.
What?
We're ahead of the game.
Oh, there's a game on?
What game are you watching? Speaking of which, who won the Stanley Cup?
Is it over? I don't know if it's over. Is it over?
No, without looking at your phone.
I don't know.
I want to say.
No, now's the time for bets, Ruth.
The Stars.
That's what.
Who won the Stanley Cup?
Oh.
Either the Stars or the Mighty Ducks. Those are the only hockey teams I know. Ow.
You were kidding me. The Mighty Ducks did win.
Did they really?
Yeah.
The Ducks?
No, the Oilers.
Ew.
Ew. Who?
How long does it take to like clean up the ice when they're done?
That's sad.
Oh, wait. No, it's a Stanley Cup final, game 5, game 4. Yeah, game 5 final yesterday. Oilers, Panthers 5-3.
Stars aren't even in it?
Wait a minute. It says Florida Panthers, which we went to our first Stars game and they lost to the Panthers. And obviously the Panthers are pretty good.
That's true. I loved that game. That game was amazing.
You know what that game reminds me of? Grief.
Yeah. Going and watching your team and watching them lose in front of you.
Well, I mean, we're used to it because we're a Texas team. So.
We're Cowboys fans.
Yeah, we're Cowboys fans.
We're used to loss.
Bruce, emotional already?
Ruth,
My eyes are
it's
watering.
okay, babe.
No, I was going to say, I'm completely off my game right now.
Why?
There's been at least 3 times that I've been on your guys' cameras when I said stuff. And so, like, my brain isn't in my switch. Like, I'm not in the zone yet.
Good.
And so,
Can you go back and fix it?
no, but it's fine. Like, it's okay. It's just purposed.
Oh.
Purpose pain, Ruth.
Yeah. I can say things while I'm not on camera. People are okay with that. And then I can
Okay.
say things where you just said something and you're not on camera. And
I'm going to start talking.
Oh, it's actually been on you the whole time.
You're right.
She doesn't know. That's my sister, everyone. She's a lovely person.
I am. Thank you.
Yeah, we should preface for the episode. We have 538 people in this house right now.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
The amount of
We
kids.
do.
So if y'all hear screaming, if we're in a really deep moment and then you get a like a pterodon flying through, it's probably my son AJ with his cousins. And then my foot decided to do its own thing this week, so it's in the episode now. So Ruth and I are Twinkies.
Yeah.
Literally, she breaks her foot, and then I don't know if I broke my ankle or not. I'm
You
able
won't
to
go to
stand
the
on it.
doctor.
Doctors are for
Ignorance
sissies.
Ignorance is bliss.
That's right. It's only turned green a little bit today, so it's still good because I love green.
Do you have a newfound empathy for Ruth?
Absolutely not. I'm like,
Like it's not that
this is
bad.
not that bad.
Yours is not even broken.
So I guess she wants to break my foot. So she,
Yeah.
I
I
can
broke it in
relive
2
it.
places.
2 places in the same spot.
Get one of those hammers.
Twice.
We'll smash them.
Ruth, I'm so sorry that I didn't break my foot. Better for you.
What did you do?
I
Were you in
walked-
slippers
Stepped
too?
We
in
had
a
this thing.
hole that he dug.
Whoa, that'll preach
You're
right
back
there.
to digging holes?
No. It was
Daniel went to a summer camp one time and he had to dig a hole every single day. It had to be as deep as his shovel and as wide as his shovel.
Yes.
Every single day. And then he came back a better person.
I did. Taught me character.
Is this
I don't have any comment beyond that.
No, I'm waiting to hear what happened.
I liked digging holes when I was a kid.
wrong with your
It was-
foot?
Oh, my foot. I don't know what you're talking about. How did you even get on the summer camp thing? I really didn't go to a summer camp to dig holes.
Have you never seen the movie Holes?
Holes.
Oh, the movie. That was a great movie.
That's why the reference was brilliant.
I know. And it had Ben Stiller in that one. That was
It's not. Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Shia
my
LaBeouf
gosh.
is not
God.
Ben
I
Stiller.
forgot about that movie. It's the only movie I guarantee you can watch and get hungry for onions. You're like,
Yes,
oh my gosh,
truth.
I got to eat an onion. And then you go to Walmart and you're like, what the heck was this?
They were dying.
What a terrible movie. You gotta carry a little baby something up the hill. Remember the thing she said in the movie?
Oh my God.
I can't remember what she said. I love that movie.
Madam Z.
Yeah. How do you know this?
I did a book report on Holes.
You did not.
Well, you're right, and you're wrong.
You were
I did a
supposed-
He
book
was
report
supposed to
on
be.
Holes.
Oh my
Did I
gosh.
read the book?
Nope.
Because Holes just came out in theaters.
He watched the movie.
So I watched the movie and I wrote my book report off the movie.
Oh my gosh.
And I got an A. So
Such a good movie. And a good storyline. They should do a movie about that movie.
like a documentary of the making of.
Well, it was a Disney movie, and so it was kind of a little cheesy and stuff. But I'm thinking if they came back out with like an actual thing, it was pretty cool.
Well, the promotion is what really sold the movie for me because Shia LaBeouf rapped
I don't remember
in
this.
this. And you don't remember the whole song? Yeah, there's a whole song.
How's it go?
Digging
And
up them holes.
That's the one. Yeah, Daniel's got it. So I don't even have to give you the rest of it. But Shia LaBeouf straight up raps, and it's hilarious.
Wow. I can't see Shia rapping.
I could show you after this episode's done. I won't show it to you right now on the air.
gosh.
We're almost to our 20 minutes in, so we
Okay.
have to
Whew.
start turning the
Yeah,
leaf
now we
into
gotta
the
start going
the
deeper.
seriousness and getting real sober and
Yeah.
other serious.
So
Words.
I dug a hole or a
Why did you dig the
trench
hole?
to prevent water. So this is the part that we'll actually preach because all right, you ready for the lesson? Let's go Bible Dan now. All right, BD. All right. Here's the lesson is that sometimes the things that you plan in life and that you think are going to help you out of fear
Is Bible Daniel stoned all the time?
end up hurting you.
Yeah.
So literally the trench I dug out to make sure water could drain appropriately by my house ended up being the same trench that I stepped in and almost broke my ankle. Or maybe didn't. I mean, according to Ruth, it's not broken enough. If I were to go jump in it later, I may do that just to get more pity. Yes. So,
Ruth is on one today. So that hole would literally not have been there had you just trusted.
exactly. Trusted that water just drains the way it's supposed to into our kitchen. So the hole is necessary.
Yeah.
The trench is necessary.
Oh, it was in your backyard.
No,
No,
it's
it's
the
in
one
our
that you
driveway.
see in our driveway. All of our Mosers out there, when y'all come visit our old stomping grounds in Palestine, you can come see this
Here's his address right here.
on the screen.
Random people.
You'd probably have
Out there taking
one
pictures.
or two that would make the trip. One or two. I don't think they're that committed.
We'd have a few fans that would show up.
You think
No,
so?
I don't think so.
Here's Ruth's real number. You can give her a call. We'll see how many people would actually, just Ruth, okay? Just okay.
Just go with it, Ruth.
Just
I'm not in part of the experiment
do it.
to see how many people we have that are actually following us.
I'm very curious. I can't look at analytics anymore. Zach banned me of it. He said you're not allowed to look at analytics anymore, and so I need some kind of proof that people are listening and that we're not just dying to ourselves.
Sorry, I drank your water.
Yeah, I saw.
No, we were just talking about this yesterday. I think that's
This
when
morning.
I stopped this morning being yesterday because
Yeah.
it's been a long day.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I looked at it too. Was
Analytics?
after a word from
Zach.
yeah, to all of our Moser people. Let's just be raw and real. Sam and I were having a conversation it was that same conversation we had a couple months ago of we want to make sure that we're affecting people, and we had the enemy come in to him and me separately because we talked about it this morning and was like, you're really not affecting anybody with these episodes. And it's such a lie because we've read y'all's comments that are so good. But it was coming into me because I was daily checking analytics and seeing that same numbers game of how many people were actually affecting.
Yeah.
And we're affecting the Swedes because we're in Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah. Yoo-hoo, family. It's time to watch Mosaic.
Big summer blowout.
Yes. So apparently we are changing the kingdom of heaven.
Not
bringing
anymore.
it down in Sweden. Not anymore.
Not after that.
We just offended them.
Yeah, we probably did.
We just lost every single one of
Oh my
them.
gosh.
Now we're big in who's Swedish's rivals. They're like, yes, make fun of the Swedes.
Yeah. Who are Sweden's rivals?
I don't even
Switzerland?
know.
I'm okay if
Canada?
Sweden tries to make fun of our country accent. Look at me, I'm a cowboy.
You just. Did you just do a terrible Swedish accent
I don't
that
even know
was
what
trying to mimic a terrible country accent?
Yes. But I'm okay. Listen, if you're from Sweden and you're watching this episode, please send me your worst country accent. I'm okay with it because we're all family. Anyway, back to analytics. We were popular in Sweden, and for some reason they love us over there. But I was checking analytics every day thinking, okay, am I really affecting God's kingdom and doing the things that God wants me to do during this time on this show, and my what's that thing called? My benchmark.
Benchmark's good. Yep.
We'll go with benchmark. I don't feel
Goal.
like it's that word. My goal. My
Number.
the thing. My mirror. I'll say it that way, because instead of me looking in the mirror and looking at, am I looking more like Jesus? I was looking in the mirror and saying, am I looking more like what the analytics are telling me? And I was like, ooh, that's bad. So when Zach, on a previous episode, y'all heard from Zach Paris, he gave this word to us after the show. And it was funny because we recorded this amazing episode with Zach, and then we got off the air and we sat here for like another hour talking, and it was so good, so deep. He gave you a prophetic word, and then we went downstairs and we're saying goodbye, and then he prayed over us, and he was like, basically, stop looking at numbers. Mm-hmm. And so since then, I haven't I turned off the app thing on my phone. I was like, it is what it is. If people are feeling blessed, we want this to go out and bless people. Yeah.
And I did not. No, I stopped looking at analytics like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude. Like and what sucks is I went to, it came through Zach again, because I went to lunch with Zach, and I was talking to him about it, and he was like, yeah, man, stop looking at those numbers. And I'm like, that's what I tell people. I tell people that. Like, that's the advice I give, because I understand it. Yeah. But when it's like, I don't know, like for this one, I couldn't not look, and it's something that the enemy can definitely like discourage you with. And because I don't think there is a number that would be like, oh, we're good. Like I think it's always going to have that I need more kind of mentality at the end of it. And that's what can make you just lose it, honestly, because you get caught up in that, and then it's no longer about why are we even doing this in the first place. Yeah. And it's for me and you, like we've talked about this, it's for one person. Yeah. If one person hears it, like that's what we want. And that's why we do this, and that's why we are glad that you guys are here. And in the live chat down there, that's really cool. Wow. See that heart? That's a cool heart. I saw it. I saw that heart. I hope there's a heart there.
Ruth, you're going to have to get on and just do a heart. I just do it for Ruth, so I can just bear all on this show, and she can't get mad at me.
Yeah. She's your one.
She's my one person.
You're one person.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because I'm afraid of her.
Don't lie.
Let's talk about grief. I think it's interesting when you said that this week, you're like, let's unpack this. Was it from Chosen, like half the other stuff that we talk about? Because that was
it was fitting
grieving episode.
No, it was the only reason why I wanted to talk about grief for this episode is because of our porch episode, and Ruth saying that like she feels that I need to grieve. And so I just wanted to dive in to grief and to dive into what that practically looks like for someone. And just for me, it's like, I don't know, man. I 'cause there's so many things that I've had to grieve in just the last few years that I thought I was grieving, but I don't think that I was. I think I was hurting, and I think that grieving can be hurtful, like or like that there's hurt in grief, but I don't think that hurting is technically grieving. If in the sense of if I'm hurting, I can't say that's me grieving it. Yeah. Because I think that I can just be hurting from a situation, right, and not intentionally going through the grief process. And I think one of the very first things that you have to do is you have to admit like that this season's over, in whatever season it is, whether it's a season with a person, a relationship, a job, a role, or even just how you see yourself. Yeah. Because I think that it's important to grieve yourself, and especially if you're doing any kind of therapy work or self-work, it's important to know that you have to grieve the person that you were to step into who you are. And So I don't know if I'm grieving appropriately, but I want to like my desires there.
Like the stages, because I don't. Honestly, I need to look that up because. What would you?
So there's denial. There's
Kung Pao just came up when I pulled it up, and that's a face like that. How can we talk about grief and then that face
comes up? There's denial. There's
that's the first.
So there is no first.
Okay, you just kind of jump into it.
That's the thing. Like people think it's a checklist.
Yeah,
and it's not. It's a bowl of spaghetti.
Oh, okay.
And so, there's depression or denial. No, there's depression and denial, anger, bargaining, and acceptance.
See, am I
right?
Yeah, anger, bargaining, depression,
And denial,
acceptance,
and then acceptance. Yeah.
Well, oh my gosh, I love ads. Bless you if you make ads.
That's someone's job.
I know. That's why I said bless you. Well, it's because I can't even look up the thing, so I had to go to Wikipedia. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I did. That's interesting because I never looked at it as a bowl of spaghetti. I looked at it as the checklist. All right, I denied it. Let's move on.
Yep.
Number 2.
Yep. And that's what a lot of
I'm
people.
mad because I denied it. Grr. But let me bargain with you because I'm mad. Okay. So you're saying you can go in and accept something and then you just go into a deep depression because you're super upset about it and you deny and do it all out of order.
Well, not just that. Like it is, I can work all the way to acceptance and then find myself back at anger.
Ooh.
Like it is all, and I can do it in one afternoon. Like grieving is just...
Did you point at me?
Yes.
Right.
Grieving, because that's the thing. Like we want to put a time on everything. We want to say it takes X amount of time to grieve.
Yep.
Like do your clock in for your grief because you're going to clock out and that's not how it works. And so it's like,
because we're trying to move on. People are uncomfortable with anything other than a popcorn culture. Mm-hmm. We want to hurry up and get done so we can move on to happy things.
yes, which is interestingly enough, like not happiness is not a source.
Ooh,
You know?
expound on that. What do you got?
I've always had the mindset that happiness is a symptom. And
Okay.
so it's not a source. Like it's not the cause.
It's a byproduct of...
It's a byproduct. I can't sit in a chair and will myself to have a fever.
Yeah.
A fever is a symptom.
Yep.
There's something that's causing that in my body. So happiness is a symptom, meaning that it has to be caused by something. Mm-hmm. And so rather than try to chase the symptom, chase the fever, I chase the source, which biblically, like it's God. Like God brings happiness because when you feel fulfilled, then happiness is there. And the only way I've ever found fulfillment is when I'm directly in the middle of the will of God.
Yeah.
That's when I feel the most fulfilled. And I have either the hiccups or something that's trying to happen right now, which is funny. But it's so happiness, because everyone is trying to chase happiness. Everyone just like, or joy or something like that.
Right.
And I don't think that it's something that you can will into existence, because I think that, like I said, like it's caused by something else. So if you do not feel fulfilled, you won't feel you won't feel happy. But there's people that feel fulfilled and have achieved. Well, I'll say this. I don't think that fulfillment and achievement is the same thing either. Because I think fulfillment is when you are doing what you are created to do, and not just great achievements. Like great achievements are fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's not going to bring a sustainable happiness in your life.
Yeah.
And I don't think happiness is supposed to always be felt.
I think joy is supposed to always be felt. Happiness not, because like you're saying, righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. Those are your three main factors. But happiness, I feel like, is that same factor that kind of comes off. Case in point with like, did Paul, when he was locked in prison, did he experience happiness? I would say not, just because, I mean, that's that byproduct, and it's hard to be happy while you're locked in a cell. But did he experience joy? 100%, because that's the kingdom right there. And so, out of that place of joy does come feelings of happiness, things like that. I think it comes from emotion, and then what you have is part of your heart.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I can't put my words together on it right now. I was sitting there trying to think of it. I can't think of what the word is.
Can you bring your microphone to
Oh,
your
sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Forgot.
We're on a podcast.
I think it's crap.
You think it's
not crap,
Wow.
Ruth.
Can you expand on that?
No, I think it's
I like how we both got that. Let's just beat her down because she said crap. Never again. Sorry.
it's okay. I think it's being content.
Ooh.
Because I think that's like the bottom line, because it doesn't matter, because it's not money, it's not things, it's not all the things that can burn up.
Your famous line. What do you mean by, so I think we have to like define all these things we're saying, because you said it's about being content. So you're saying being content is happiness, or being content is fulfillment? Like, what are you, I'm trying to draw lines.
Fulfillment in being content with wherever you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm following you. That's good.
Because, like, for me, when I want new things, like a new car, a new house, like, I start getting discontent with where I'm at and like what I have.
Yeah.
And I always have to get my heart back to like, my house is enough. Like, what I have is enough. I can, if I have too much crap in there, like, I can go through it.
Even that word, Ruth.
I'm sorry.
Settle down.
Stuff.
Do we? Okay. Golly.
Like, I can get rid of some stuff to make it more suitable for me, but then I have to be content with where I'm at, not wanting to replace it with something else.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot, and with our culture now, it's like everybody wants the newest, best, whatever it is. And so you're not content with what you have. That's why you go after a new car, a new phone.
Because they're trying to find fulfillment
right
in whatever it is.
They're getting mistake with, instead of searching for content, they're looking for content.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. I love it. Your eyes brightened up when you said it. I mean, he's wagging his tail. That was good.
So dumb.
That was really good. I like how your eyes shifted. That was so funny. No, that was really deep. I'm still trying to unpack the stuff you said.
Because anytime I've wanted something, and wanting something more I don't think is necessarily bad.
Right.
It's just when you're not okay with where you are.
Yeah.
Then, like, why am I not okay?
That part. So that's what I think that we should dig into. Why am I not okay? Why am I discontent in my position in life right now? Like, I think that this is something that a lot of people are asking themselves. And it's like, and the journey to content, is it the spirit of comparison that stops us? Is it the fact that we're looking at other people, we're looking at other situations and saying, I think that they have it and I'm not there. But the reality is, if you step in their shoes, they don't feel like they have it. And so comparison in and of itself is a lie. You
look into it with a different lens, I think, because you're not really looking into it. It's like, you know, when you look in and it like magnifies something, but it's not the reality of what it is. And I feel like if that makes sense, like you're looking into it with magnified of like, oh, you want the fancy new car, and like, it's amazing. Do you want the $1,000 car payment that goes with that?
Right.
Like, oh, when I start looking at that, that's not That feels like a lot of pressure. That feels
Yeah.
like me working all the time and not going home at nights to my kids. So like stepping into the reality of what that is how I put myself back, because I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, I really want a new car. I do not want a new car payment. Like, I like having a car that's paid for right now, and we fix whatever goes wrong with it. And does it suck? Yeah, because I'm driving a 2011. It sucks at times. It's not bad because I like a free car. I like that we just fixed the little clicker on my windshield
wipers.
Just
Should
randomly.
be driving down the road. It's like 500 degrees and no rain in sight, and these windshield wipers will be going.
And I can't turn them off. And it's real. And then they started squeaking when they did it. And I was like, okay. So, but it's like, okay, those things can irritate and be like, okay, I need a new car. But in all reality, what was it, $20 that fixed the problem? And so I feel like a lot of times we're just like magnifying the reward or the nice shiny thing, but not looking at what it takes to get to that. Does that make sense?
Rather than pay the $20 to fix it, they go to the $20,000 to fix it, thinking that
Or like 80 to 100 nowadays.
what are y'all doing? Y'all driving Cybertrucks? Like,
No, that's a what? A freaking Expedition.
Expedition?
Ford Expeditions,
Yeah,
80,000.
expeditions.
70
wild.
to 80. Yes. It's really bad.
I think it's a yes and, because we keep tapping on the like comparison thing. And my sister, Jessica Crutcher, she's so wise.
Shout out, Jess.
Shout out, Jess. You say shut up, Jess. Shout out, Jess.
Just stop.
Sam just told you to shut up, Jess. No. Jessica says, and she made up this phrase, I'm sure, but she said, comparison is the thief of joy. And as long as you're comparing your things to other things, then you're always going to have that joy robbed of you, because you're missing what God made you for specifically, or what he's made for you specifically.
Yeah.
And I feel that we're still tapping around, like dancing around the edge of like what contentment is, because we both know the truth of, or all three of us know the truth of, we find our contentment in him, because he is the end of all things. Like he is provision. He is hope and joy. I mean, love. He is everything that we need. And what we do is we try and find a counterfeit in all these other things. Yeah. And then there's like that thing you're held in tension, because it's like, yeah, I would like a new car, but then you like get down to the nitty gritty of it. And it's like, why do I want another car? And honestly, it's like, because I don't want my windshield wipers to squeak, and I don't want this, and this. So there are practical things. I want to be able to tow things without having to have a bigger truck. I mean, I'm like, I want to be able to pull the camper. And so there's things that you want practically, but it's like God has already provided for you in the season that you're in with what you have. So I guess my question back to y'all, because we're playing a little ping pong here. Like my question is like, so when does it go beyond practicality into orphan mentality? Or maybe I shouldn't say, because I've seen some orphans that are like 100% just like on fire for God and have their mind blown. So when does it go from practicality and you cross the line into, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Into selfish, greedy, want something just to have something.
Well, I think like let's break this down real simple, real fast though.
Okay.
First, orphan mindset is like, you can be a physical orphan and not have an orphan mindset.
Yeah.
Like that's
100%.
That's the thing. When we say orphan mindset, what we're saying is the mindset of, I am on my own and no one is for me.
Yes. I don't have a dad. I don't have a mom. I don't have anyone to take care of me.
Yeah. There's no weight to my name.
Yeah.
And I have to go out and make things happen for me. Otherwise, it's not going to.
Yeah.
And that's the orphan thinking that we're talking about. And we put that in the spiritual, because that's what happens is we don't have a God.
Yeah.
We have to make things happen.
Yes.
And almost I could get real.
Get there now. Get it.
You're probably the closest to Satan in thinking that you have to do it by yourself. because that was Satan wanted to be higher than God.
Yeah.
And so when you put yourself, like you're probably the most like him in that situation than any other situation. And so like when we have these mindsets of God's not for me or he's not going to take care of this issue,
Yeah.
I have to step in and do it with my own hands. You're kind of a Satanist. And that's the that's the hot thing I was going to say on it. But it's because you are
Told you she's one of the 538,000 something people.
Are you leaving?
I love you.
We're a real show, so this is a real family moment. This is Daniel and his real daughter.
She hasn't been on here. Kaya, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Say hello.
What does that even mean, Kaya? Stop throwing those gang signs. Okay, wow. I love you. Be careful. Make wise choices.
See ya.
I'm gonna throw a party.
Yes, birthday party for your cousins. Gosh. It's like I look in the mirror every time she walks in with her wittiness. That's why I just
she's
want to
hilarious.
punch her so bad.
Oh, now you know how I feel.
You want to punch me?
Sometimes.
She already broke my foot.
Do that.
You're right. It's not broken. We don't know. It's just green.
You wouldn't go to the doctor. You're stubborn.
Wow, God. Let's get back to the topic at hand, Sam.
So Satanists, no. So the mindset of doing it without God, and there's a lot of layers to this because I think that it's no one's saying like, "Oh, you don't exist, God," and I'm gonna step in and fill this role. Like they're not blatantly saying that.
Yeah.
Usually, it's just for me personally, in my own opinion. I think that God has other things to worry about. And I don't want to bother him with what I would see as like the smallest issues in the world. Like I guess my self-view comes into this a lot and it's not good. Like I don't have good self-view. I see myself as small. And so like everything in my life is going to be small. And God has other things to worry about, other things to take care of. So why bother him? That's where my mind usually goes. And so that's why it's like, I'll just take care of this or like whatever. And like just a couple days ago, I mean, I was livid with God. Like, I was yelling at him pretty hard one morning. I hadn't slept all night, so I was sleep deprived as well. And I was fed up and at the end of my rope. And I think that he wanted me to get there, which is his MO through and through. Like, I always feel like he waits till you get to your last rope, and then when that snaps, then you realize like, oh, you've had me the whole time. But it's not until that moment, and I get frustrated with that. And so it's like, okay, like God, I want to. I told him, this is probably wild. This is what I said to God. I said, if this is a test of Job, I'm not Job, and I will just quit. Like, that's what I said. And that's because that's how I felt. I was like, I don't have the strength and the stamina to sit here and just be like, oh, through the hardest things, I'll always be unwavering. No, I'm going to be mad. Like, I'm going to be upset. And I'm going to say, like, what's up? Like, what do you need me to do? That's what it came down to, which I don't think that in life, I don't think that there is, going back to what we always talk about, chosen, there's a line where, and I forget the situation, but Jesus made the statement, "Oh, I didn't know this was a test," or "I'm not testing you," is what he said. And he was talking to.
Oh, easy spoilers.
Oh well, Jesus dies, but he comes back. But like
Yeah.
and so I think that we think God's testing us when it's not anywhere in. Y'all can see my milkshake now. I just now realized that. Whoops.
It was that scene when Peter said, "I don't know how to act because you've done this. You've given me this new name, this responsibility."
Yeah,
he said, "I'm failing." And Jesus in the show, and we understand this is creativity that he's doing, but Jesus in the show, he says, "Failing at what? Like this isn't a test."
Yeah.
And it's because Peter was feeling what we feel a lot, and that's that we need to be doing something like help somebody, like on the topic of grief, we need to help somebody through grief, or we're going through grief ourselves. I'm failing at this because I feel like I should be doing something more.
Yes.
When God's like literally there in the show, Jesus is like, what test? Like this is just be here.
Yeah. And I think like that's something I struggle with because I think that everything is a test. Ooh. I think that it's like I either succeeded today or I failed today. And every day is a test. And that's
actually liberating because I think the same way.
Really?
And you're saying it's not that way.
No.
Because I literally think like sitting in this room right now is a test.
I don't think it is, dude. Like, I think that that's what I need to realize because I've lived my life this way. And that is so against the nature of God. He wants a relationship. He doesn't want an employee. Like, he has other ways to mark off tasks. And so it's not, did I do my task list today? Because that's how I've been living. Like, that's how I see day-to-days. Is, okay, this is a task. I got a task. I'm either going to pass or I'm going to fail. And that's not it. It's the...
Did I read my Bible? Did I spend 30 minutes in prayer this morning? Did I...
Fail.
No, I didn't do this. And God's like, yes, those things are good, but it's at the aim of relationship. It's the difference of like, going back to Chosen, with the law. Like it's... You have these Pharisees and Sadducees and all these people of the law, and they're following this stuff to the best of their ability, so they think, to the letter of the law, but they're completely missing the person who is Jesus.
It's the Mary Martha.
Ooh.
It is.
More spoilers.
I have to prepare. No, this is just biblical.
It is biblical. Yeah.
But it's the I have to prepare for the party. I have to make sure everyone's good. And not just sit there and listen to Jesus when he's like, just sit here and listen to me.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that you're doing is good stuff. It's that holding the tension.
Yeah.
Yes, what you want to do, like you want to be this amazing, almost poster child for God's grace, love, mercy, and showcase God to the world. He just wants you to be with him.
Yeah.
He just wants you to be Daniel. He just wants me to be Sam.
Yeah.
And just spend time with him, not trying to check a list off. Just be like, hey, like, dude, if I called you every single day,
would love it.
You would love it. But if I called you every single day and like towards the end of the phone call, I was like, okay, I called Daniel Chick.
Ooh.
That whole conversation now is like, dude, you're just checking off a box.
I like
that's
checklist though. I'd be like,
I fulfilled his box.
Yeah. I'd be good job, Sam. I'm glad I could help you fulfill your destiny.
No, dude, that's so impersonal to me. That to me, like if you did that to me, I hang up the phone. I'm like, he doesn't even care about me. So
I'm sorry that I do that.
That's really why I wanted to bring it up.
I
knew
wish
you would stop.
I'll stop doing that. But no, I see where you're going with that. And we do that with God. I'm like, okay, God, let me check this box off. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Which is...
It becomes a clinical, sterile environment where we're trying to just do our checkups. And it's like, we don't care about God. We don't care about the relationship that we're trying to build. It is, did I read my Bible? Does it matter if I comprehended what I read? Does it matter if it got into my heart? Does it matter that like it spoke to me? No, but I read my Bible today. Check.
Yep.
Like, I got that badge. Let me put that on my vest. And that's why, like, Jesus with the Pharisees, they have a vest full of badges.
Yeah.
All the boxes are checked.
Badges. The Pharisees don't need no stinking badges.
So dumb. Your dad loves that one.
He'll never watch this episode. Sorry, Dad. You just
No, he watched
missed
the last one.
Oh, he did.
He did. He
I'm
watched the
sorry,
last
Dad.
one.
You might watch this
You
episode
might watch
with
this
another highly inappropriate movie. I'm sorry we did another reference like that. No more bad references.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna happen. Sorry, guys. And so, like, but he had a real issue with them.
Yeah.
They had no relationship. It was all task oriented. And it's just like, we can get that way. We get that way with grief. Check these boxes. Maybe grief is more relational. Maybe grief's an actual like person that we can't even spend time with.
So like whenever we were talking about it, I went and looked it up when you guys were looking at that. And I, in my head, always thought acceptance was first. And I think
Really?
yeah, because, and I'm like, wait, why is that the last step? Because I couldn't ever start working on my grief till I accepted things in my head
Wow.
and like accepted where I was with it.
Wow.
And so I was like, why is that at the bottom? Because in my head, when my journey with the grief, it had to be at the top. Like that's the first thing I had to do. Because for me with grief, I was running. So I did things and like had rituals or things that I did so that I could kind of stay in that moment. And this is like with the person. But I think like in every stage, I've had to accept where I actually was first and like, oh, and I'm what I'm feeling and then move from that, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I just can't believe I'd never even thought about it that way.
Well, I always thought it was first. And then I was like, wait, what? Why is it at the end? Because I don't think it should be. Because until you can accept, because I feel like you can live in a fantasy. You can get stuck in a fantasy, specifically like with a relationship or with a person or anything of like, oh, well, I do this because I want to stay here. I want to feel these feelings still. I want to feel like they're close to me. I want to feel like I didn't lose or I'm not going through loss. And so you can create things that make you feel a certain way. And so you're not accepting it. You're creating a lifestyle that keeps that.
Postpones it almost.
Right. But, and that you can just live with your fantasy.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I always had the mindset of acceptance was what I was achieving for. Like, I'm trying to get there. And so it's the promised land. It's the final destination. And because I thought of acceptance as I'm at peace now. I'm content with what's happened. That was what acceptance is in my head. Not, I need to accept the fact that I no longer have this relationship, that I no longer have this job, that I am no longer in this season of my life. So that's very, like, my whole head's upside down right now because of that. but because it makes sense. Of course you have to accept that first. Like, otherwise you're just in denial of even being in denial. Like, you know?
And I think you can live there and get okay with the pain, get okay with feeling that way.
Yeah.
I had a vision, and I think I shared it one time before, of it being this boulder. Like when I was running, what is it? That Indiana Jones movie where he's like running from that boulder and that thing's like going to crush him. And that was my grief. Like I was running as fast as I possibly could so that it didn't hurt me and didn't crush me. And I didn't want to feel that pain of that grief hitting me. And when I had that vision, then I was like, okay, obviously it's way bigger. I didn't even accept that it was that big. Yeah. And that it was like, so like the feeling of it was so crushing to me. Like I didn't, and I think it was the fear of not knowing how to get out if I allowed it to come in. Yeah. I didn't know how I was going to get out. But until I accepted that, okay, there's this huge mountain of grief that I'm not dealing with. And then until I accepted that, then I could start to work on all the other things.
You made me think of something. I want to look it up though. Because this circles back to what you were just saying about Mary and Martha. Mary and Martha, Mary was the one who anointed Jesus' feet.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't have to look it up. Because it comes back to the reason she was in that place is because she went through that grief. She had accepted it, went through all the stages and stuff. And the reason she wasn't up completing tasks and doing the things that Martha was doing at that time, not saying Martha didn't have her journey and she was working through things or even had a relationship with God, because I believe she did, but she was doing the things that she thought was task-oriented stuff to please God. Yeah. But the reason that Mary was there at Jesus's feet, and I know we keep going back to The Chosen, but how she looked even in that show of just sitting there gleaning from every word he was saying. And it was because she was forgiven much. Yeah. And it's because she, in that story, poured out everything on him, washed his feet, dried his feet with her hair. Like that is the kind of Mary that we know from further back in the story. And then you have this person who's completely transformed, forgiven much. And now she's there gleaning at his feet and just like everything that you say, I want to soak in. Yeah. And then it's not about check boxes anymore with you, because I've been in that grieving place and you brought me out of it. And it was difficult for her, that what she went through. She had to accept the place that she was in. But then also on the other side, she was like, yeah, I've accepted the place I was in, but now I have this amazing God in front of me taking care of all of that stuff.
Well, I think you can tie it in. You could probably take an entire grief process and apply it over the story of the prodigal son. And the moment that he realizes that he has to get back to his father, that he's better taken care of, even if he just goes to work for his dad, that's the acceptance. Yeah. But he has to get through that whole like ordeal of him just going off and being selfish and trying to do his own thing. Yeah. Again, and that very much ties into the orphan thinking that we were talking about, because he just didn't think that his dad had anything for him. And so I can go live my own life, do my own thing, take care of my own self, until you get to the place where you realize that you have completely destroyed yourself and that it's better to even just go work for the guy as a servant. Not even as a son. You have the acceptance of, well, okay, I got to turn. And he literally has to walk that out with every step back home. Because it's not like his dad lived down the street. Like it was probably days and days and days of a journey just to get back. Yeah. And every step, I guarantee every moment, the enemy's right there going, don't do it. Don't go back. How embarrassing. Go back to be a servant in your dad's house. Like he's not even going to accept you. Like all these lies that can be going through his head. Yeah. And like his bargaining that he's having to do with like, oh, I think that it's going to be this way. Or maybe if I just go work for whoever down the street. Yeah. And just be my own person. Like you have to, that's the bargaining part of grief is an interesting one for me. Because it's like, in the sense of a death, there's finality to it. Like I understand I cannot wish someone back. But we do go through that. God, why couldn't it have just been me? Like, why didn't you take me instead? Yeah. You know, like that's kind of how we do. In one of my biggest failures, I many times prayed to God, Lord, if you take me back to that day, I'll change it and I won't tell anyone that it's happened before.
Yeah.
Like, I'll keep it a complete secret. Like, no one will have to know that I've time traveled. Like, but if you just take me back, let me fix this. And again, like, that's bargaining with denial. That's bargaining, saying, like, take me back and denying that you can fix this. I have to fix this.
Whoa.
You know?
That's coming back and saying, let me do it within my own power.
Yes.
Because the way that you're doing it right now, I don't trust your process.
Let me dig that trench.
Let me dig that
so
trench.
that I can step into it and break my foot. Well, not break
You're
it.
such a
He didn't break it.
He didn't break it. Yeah.
Just severely named it. No, that's really, really good. Let me go back in time because I don't trust that you're a good dad.
Yep.
And that when you promised me something, I don't trust you at your promises because his promises say he brings beauty from ashes. The whole point of Mosaic, the whole point of this show. Let me go back so we don't knock that lampshade thing off
and
that we still need a frame. But it's like, if we could go back in time, let me go fix that lampshade. And God's like, no, we're going to make something more beautiful out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a cocktail of, well, it's actually a cocktail of depression, bargaining, and denial because you're caught up in the past. And like we talked about the other day, like depression is all about being caught up in the past. Mm-hmm. Anxiety is being caught up in the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? Mm-hmm. But depression, it's I've done this or I've done that.
See, that's where I think again, it's accepting where you are.
Oh man.
Acceptance is being present. I am here.
And
I am sitting on this couch. I accept that I am on this couch in this moment. And so see how it's a bowl of spaghetti and not a checklist.
Yeah.
Because these things can be coupled. You can have 1/3 bargaining with 1/3 denial and 1/3 depression. And it's like a whole stew.
And I think they can change daily too. Like,
I think it can change secondly.
Yes. Like you can, like, because there's times that I'm like, okay, I've already accepted, I've already dealt with that. And then it'll be like a month later, it'll come up and there'll be this thing. And I'm like, and then there's that like thing of like, I've already gone through this. Why am I having to deal with this again? And it's just like other areas of pain that you're just having and just accepting it again, that this is where I'm at today and working through it for that day.
And there's such a pressure on there because part of that, just thinking, just an example with like fostering, like we keep going back to like if we would do this or this or this, and we keep going back to just, okay, this is the situation we're in. And we would put pressure on ourselves from the popcorn culture of we need to have this done. We need to hurry up and grieve so we can move on to bigger and better things. But then there's also something beautiful that comes out of the grief, because then it's like you realize how much you loved that child that was with you. Yeah. Or you realize how much you love that person that you lost, that God is maybe waited to hold their healing until they stepped into eternity. Like, those are the hard, gut-wrenching things that you just have to accept. Yeah. And if you accept it 1 minute and then tomorrow you're still grieving that child that you lost, it's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think people, they have a unhealthy mindset for themselves, is when that does happen and they have to grieve all over again. Yeah. They say, did I not do it right the first time? Like, did I mess up? Like, I thought I was through this already. Yeah. And it's a completely different thing, because you finding a new reason to grieve an old season just means that you're being thorough. Like, you had no idea this still affected you the way that it does. You had no idea that I still have these feelings and now I got to deal with them. Mm-hmm. And there's grace for that. There's mercy for that. Like, there's love for that. You can love yourself through your grief, because you grieving doesn't mean that you're less than. Mm-hmm. Your grieving doesn't mean that honestly, what it's doing is you're assigning love to that season. You're saying this was worth something, and it's worth my grief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, if you swung to the other side of the coin that people want to do, it's, if you take a bad breakup, for instance, they'd rather pretend it never happened. I don't even know that person. Like, we didn't even date. And that's not true. Like, to honor them through it is to say, yes, we had a relationship and it meant so much to me that I have to grieve.
Yeah.
And I have to hold the weight of this. Otherwise, you're in that denial. That's what that is you're just denying the existence of.
I had a lot of shame with losing our foster son because I identified so much with losing the death of a child.
Yeah.
And that's what I associated with, but he did not die. And so that was where he didn't die. I spent a lot of time trying to convince myself he didn't die. He's alive, he's living, he's here. And I couldn't, just for me, it was a death. And so that's what I associated with, but I felt so much shame and I'm not justified in carrying that. That can't be what I'm going through or that. And so because I didn't lose him, he didn't die. And so in my head though, that was the only thing I could identify it as is the death of a child.
Mine was the anger, because then it was it sounds stupid, but it's if I stay angry, then it can't happen again, because then you cut your heart off. It's almost anger has a place of protection or a wall or something to make sure that you don't ever step into that same situation again, which is totally the wrong approach. And I think I know y'all are well, duh, Daniel, but this is such an important part of grief, is that you have to go through all steps. And sometimes I find myself staying and camping in one of them and be I'm grieving, so I'm going to be angry the rest of my life so nothing ever can hurt me again. Yeah. I'm never going to lose another child. I'm never going to lose whatever it is. Or if you get to the part that it's I'm going to deny it the rest of my life, you meet people that are living 20 years before that are still stuck in high school, or they're still stuck in the whatever part of their life, and they're I'm just going to pretend that everything's fine and just keep living life as normal. And that's not healthy.
No, I think that I think I'm stuck in a bargaining season. And I say that because even with the new perspective that I found in this conversation, I think that my bargaining chip is, if I do my self-work, I can make sure that this never happens again. And it's a bargain of, if I do X, Y, then I'll get Z.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's the right motivation to do my self-work. As much as it kills me what happened in my last marriage and it being completely my fault, I can't think that it wouldn't happen if I had done this work before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just don't know the situations. So you can't live in the past. You can't live in the what ifs.
Yeah.
And I have to get to that acceptance place of, I need to do this for me. Just if I'm never in another relationship again, I have to do this. I have to figure out my self-work, and because I want to be a whole person and not be reliant on, I need this situation to happen so that I feel like a whole person. God made me the way that I am fully already.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to do the work to find who that person is. And for none other reason than that. And I don't think I've been there.
Which I think that's the first step.
Acceptance.
That's what it is. It's accepting where you are.
So an hour 12 in, we've arrived at the first step.
No, it's the last step. It's the last step in this Google.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's something biblical about the first being last and the last being first, something like that.
That's the first noodle.
The first noodle.
And the bowl of
And
this.
the last.
And the last.
Hey, two ends of the same noodle.
It's a really long noodle.
The whole bowl was just one noodle.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that just definitely signifies the end of this episode, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. If y'all don't know, we do premiere our episodes every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central. And I was going to say CST, but that's me typing it. And so my brain was in like this weird, it's called Central. Because we live in Texas. Again, here's Daniel and Ruth's address. Y'all can
Come see us.
go say hi.
Come by the house.
Especially if you're flying in from Sweden.
Especially if you're Swede.
You guys have anything you wanna say?
I just love my wife.
Aw, you're so sweet.
You don't let me
I love you
finish
too.
when she's nice to me. That's all I want to say. Hey. No. Hopefully this episode helps somebody in grief.
I hope so.
Literally just us processing things. So
That's I mean, if you guys have been rocking with us from the beginning, you know that's how it's done here on Mosaic. We don't have the answers that are going to push you into the next season, but we can offer perspective. We can offer, I mean, shoot, I find perspective every single time we sit down and talk.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that that's the same experience for you guys as well. And so until the next episode.